And they don't fear your silence. They fear the moment you decide to speak. Before we talk about power, we need to talk about belief. Because most of us were raised in a world that teaches us to look upward when we think of power. We look to offices, titles, governments, institutions, those with microphones and stages and suits. We were taught that power lives, they're up there. Far away from us, we were taught that power is something you are given, not something you already have. But that is the first lie. Power has never lived in buildings. It has never lived in titles. It has never belonged to positions. Power lives in people. It always has, and it always will. Because power is not authority. Power is not control. Power is not wealth. Power is the ability to influence change, to shift hearts, to shape futures, to move others to action. And that ability has always come from people. Think about it. Every movement that has ever changed history began with ordinary people who refused to stay silent. Not celebrities. Not representatives, not officials, people, neighbors, workers, students, mothers, children, people who decided enough is enough, people who realized that waiting for someone in a position of power to create change is how injustice survives. Because systems do not change themselves, systems are changed by the people they suppress. Zohran Mamdani stood not as someone above the people, but with the people. That is the difference. He reminded us of a truth buried beneath generations of silence. The power has always been ours, not theirs. We are not powerless. We are not voiceless. We are not small. We have simply been told we are, and we believed it. But belief can be unlearned. Voices can awaken, and movements can rise quietly at first, and then all at once. Because when people remember who they are, when they remember what they carry, the world begins to shift, and those at the top feel it. They feel it not when one person speaks, but when many speak together. They do not fear individuals. They fear unity to easier. They fear connection. They fear awareness. They fear a community realizing we are the power. We always have been. Look at history. Governments have changed when people marched. Rights have been won when people refused to leave the streets. Laws have been rewritten when voices became impossible to ignore. Not because someone in authority felt generous, but because people came together and made change unavoidable. This is what those in power know. This is what they do not want you to know. That at your voice is not small. It is only silent, and silence can be broken. The system counts on your silence. It counts on your exhaustion. It counts on your fear of speaking, because when people are silent, nothing changes, and the world continues as it is. But when people speak, even one at first, others begin to remember that they too have a voice, and then something remarkable happens. People look around and realize they were never alone. That is when movements are born, not in headlines, not in speeches, not in elections, but in living rooms, sidewalks, group chats, street corners, whispers turning into conversations, conversations turning into courage, courage turning into action. This is where power begins, not at the top. But Ayeshir Daketh with us, with people. You do not need permission to lead. You do not need approval to care. You do not need a title to make change. You only need to speak. Your voice may shake. Your voice may tremble. Your voice may feel small at first, but speak anyway. Because every movement began with a voice that trembled before it roared. Your power is not in how loudly you speak. Your power is in your willingness to speak at all. You may think your voice is just one opinion, just one perspective, just one person in a world of millions. But listen carefully. Every movement that has ever changed the course of history was started by one voice that sparked another and another and another until silence had no room left to exist. You are not just one, you are part of many. You are part of every person who has ever been afraid to speak and is waiting for a sign that they are not alone, and your voice could be that sign. You don't see the impact you have. You don't see the lives you touch. You don't see the strength others borrow from you just by watching you live. But they do. They see you. They feel you. They learn from you. Sometimes your courage is the light that guides someone else out of their darkness. So do not hide it. Do not dim yourself. Do not silence yourself because the world told you that your voice is too small. Small voices have moved mountains when they refuse to be quiet. You are not here to fit into the world as it is. You are here to shape it into what it should be, and shaping the world does not begin with authority. It begins with awareness, with honesty, with truth, with voice. The world changes when people decide to speak, even when speaking feels dangerous, because courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is speaking through the fear. Your voice is courage in motion. Your voice is the sound of change beginning. And hear me now, you do not need to be loud to be powerful. You do not need to shout. You do not need to win every argument. You do not need to convince every listener. You only need to be as real. Real is stronger than loud. Real is stronger than perfect. Real is stronger than everything that tries to silence you. Because a voice that comes from truth, from lived experience, from love, from hurt, from hope, is a voice that cannot be erased. Even if they ignore you today, they will remember you tomorrow. Even if they try to silence you now, your words will echo later. Truth does not disappear. It waits. And when the world is ready, it returns louder than before. You are part of something ancient, something human, something that existed long before governments, institutions, and titles. You are part of the power of people, the power of community, The power of collective voice. This is the power that toppled empires. This is the power that freed nations. This is the power that rewrote laws. This is the power that forced justice to be recognized. This is the power that still exists in you right now, in this moment. But power means nothing if it remains silent. So speak. Speak even when your voice trembles. Speak even when they do not listen at first. Speak even when you feel alone. Because you are not speaking for you alone. You are speaking for every person who has ever been told to stay quiet, to stay small, to stay invisible. You are speaking for those who cannot speak yet, for those who are waiting to find their courage, for those who will hear your voice and realize, if they can speak, then so can I. This is how movements are born, not from perfection, not from leaders at podiums, but from people just like you. People who decide, I will not let my silence protect what I know is wrong. You are powerful, not because someone gave you power, but because power was always yours. It lives in your voice. It lives in your choice to speak. It lives in your willingness to rise. Power does not come from positions. Power comes from people. And you are one of those people.
Rise, organize, inspire.
So here we are, you and I, in a world that keeps telling you to stay quiet, a world that benefits when you doubt yourself, a world that feels safer when you shrink. But listen, you were not born to be small. You were not born to watch life happen from the sidelines. You were not born to be silent in the face of injustice. You were not born to fold yourself to fit inside someone else's expectations. You were born to be heard. Your voice has weight. Your voice has purpose. Your voice has the power to shake the ground beneath the systems that depend on your silence. And I know there are moments when speaking feels impossible. Moments where your heart is pounding, your hands are shaking, your throat closes up, and everything in you says, stay quiet. It's safer. But safety is not the same as freedom. Silence may protect you for a moment, but it chains you for a lifetime. Your voice is the key. Every time you speak, even if your voice trembles, you break a link in that chain. You step closer to the life you are meant to lead. You step closer to change. You step closer to the world we all deserve to live in. They told you that you are just one person. But look at history. Every movement, every revolution, every moment of real transformation began with one person who refused to stay silent. One spark, one voice, one truth spoken out loud. That is all it takes to start a fire. You think your voice is small. A spark is small too, until it becomes a flame, until the flame becomes a wildfire, until the wildfire becomes impossible to contain. You are that spark. The world does not change because people wait for someone else to do something. The world changes when people realize no one is coming. It has to be us, not one person, not someday, not eventually. Us, here, now. Power is not held by the few. Power is held by the many. Power is held by the people. People like you, people like me, people who speak, people who rise, people who refuse to stay silent. So speak. Speak with honesty. Speak with courage. Speak with conviction. Your voice is not just sound. Your voice is evidence that you are alive. Your voice is proof that you matter. Your voice is power. And when you speak, when you show up, when you stand tall, you do not rise alone. You bring thousands with you. You give others permission to find their voices. You show them that they are not powerless. You show them they were powerful all along. So let them hear you. Let them feel you. Let them know you were here, not quiet, not hidden, not waiting, but present, awake, certain, unshakable. Power does not come from positions. Power comes from people, and now it comes from you.